Welcome to a video about my thoughts on ROH and the WWE releases. Now, this ain't a Gump report. I decided instead of making this a Gump report, let's make this just my thoughts on this situation. What I think will happen, and not every person that has been released from WWE right now, because it's been between 18 to 20 people, and the roster of ROH. I'm not talking about every single person in ROH. I'm only going to talk about the people I recognize. So, these are my thoughts on where they may go and what could generally happen to the majority of the ones I'm not mentioning. So, let's get started here. Now, the first person I got to talk about is Kylie Rae. If you haven't checked Twitter, on Kylie Rae's Twitter account, she said she has to go away again because she's having mental problems again. And this time around, she didn't. The last time she never spoke about having any type of problem with alcoholism or anything else. This time she did. She said in her Twitter post she's sorry for Freelancer. That's a wrestling promotion. I think it's AAW and NWA. She said, I'm sorry. I can't be there right now. My mental health has gone bad. I thought I could handle it, but I was wrong. I could not handle it. I started drinking and doing weed. I thought that would work to keep it down, but it's not working, and I need to get help. Now, she said that she'll try to get back as soon as she can so she can be 100% healthy, but I gotta be honest here. This is now the second time for her, and this time she mentions having tried to drink and do weed to compensate for it. There's a problem there. Now, as someone who has depression anxiety himself, mild, which has been more elevated because of the pandemic, it's easy to become depressed. It's easy to get anxiety pretty badly, and I've had it. Probably one of the reasons why my stomach is kind of messed up, because I've had a little bit of anxiety because I have writer's block and it's pissing me off and it's giving me a little anxiety, which has probably messed up my stomach. But here's the thing. You can get out of your anxiety, your depression. It's not easy. I want to make this clear. It is not easy. If you do it by yourself with no help, if you have a system to cope, you could do it. In my case, because it's been very hard to get my hands on a psychologist, because I used to go to one, I can't. Because she doesn't do it in my area anymore. And with the pandemic, it's still going on, and there's still a lot of, it's still chaotic out there to a certain extent, guys, I'm telling you. It's hard getting someone to talk to. Now, I do have a place I go with friends, and I do these. So that is part of my coping system. For her, it's different. Because she is wrestling, because of any time you travel as a wrestler, or in this case, being in one place, doing a whole bunch of tapings, getting hurt physically, that agitates it a lot more than it would in my case, being injured, disabled, unable to work. I'm still in the same place in my apartment other than going to the store, going to physical therapy to maintain at least a quality of life, not to have so much pain. But still, in her case, now she's relapsed, going back into depression again. So the question is going to be, what was the system she was using before to cope? Because if she turned to liquor and she turned to weed, it's going to be a question of what was she using before. Was she not using a coping system like going to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, taking any type of anti-depression medication? Was she doing it like me, where I don't take any medication because my depression anxiety is not like here. It's somewhere here that has been elevated a bit and jumps up and down. I am not here. I was diagnosed with it through my psychologist. She realized I have it. So I am not here. She diagnosed it somewhere here. So did a psychiatrist as well. Just in case you wonder, a psychiatrist noticed I have depression with anxiety, but he didn't say it was that bad. But here's the thing. What was she doing to try and cope before she went to liquor, to alcohol, and to weed to cope with it? Did she see a psychologist? Did she see a psychiatrist? Did she go to group therapy? I've done that. I went to group therapy. Then when I became unable to work and workman's compensation, because I got hurt on the job, I had to go to a psychologist. I had to go to a psychiatrist. Then I went back to a psychologist because I didn't require a psychiatrist with any heavy meds. That is the situation we're here. Is she doing that? And if she's not, she's just staying home, trying to deal with it with family, that's not the way to do it. It's not going to work. If you think God is going to help you with it, because I've known people who think God will cure their health in that way. And that's a part of it. Let's make it clear. Having some type of belief in something, it doesn't have to be God. It's something you believe in that can help you. If you believe in science, you believe in philosophy, believe in religion, those things are part of it. The rest is having good people around you to help notice when you got a problem, to be there to help you, to have, if it's necessary, a psychologist or a psychiatrist, if it's necessary to have some level of medication, like Eddie Kingston, who pretty much said in a promo, I take a medicine to keep myself sane. Now, that's not a lie. But is she doing that? If she's not doing it and she thinks she can do it straight, then this is going to keep happening. And it's a waste of our time, even though we love her. Let's be honest here. If she refuses to go to a psychologist, to a psychiatrist, and think maybe religion will be the only thing she needs to straighten herself out, or just family to straighten it out, if they're not helping her to see you need more, you need group therapy if it's necessary, you need a psychologist if it's necessary, you need a psychiatrist if it's necessary, maybe you need to take a drug temporarily to help stabilize yourself and then find a routine that'll work for you. And she's not doing it. She's doing this on purpose, and she doesn't deserve any kind of kindness, because this is going to keep happening over and over again. It will. I understand it myself as someone with depression and anxiety. I have those moments where I'm not myself, and I recognize that. So some days I make sure I spend around my friends more as I can, or I tell them what's going on. I do more videos, and I express myself like this because I have done it over the years that I have not been myself. Not that people say it or not, that, hey, we're here for you, but interaction helps. If she's not doing any of that, finding a way to cope, doing animation is one of the other things I do for coping, unless I get a writer's block like I do right now, animation block, as I would put it. I'm kind of stuck right now. It happens. But if you're not putting up some type of system in front of you, what are you doing? You're not really doing your job as someone trying to keep yourself stable and having a regular life. It's not there. So I have to say that about Kylie Rae. Now, let's start with the people from WWE before I go to the people in ROH. We now have 18 to 20 people. I believe there's more right now. I think there's between 18 to 20 people have been released. The ones I'm going to talk about will be Keith Lee, Karrion Kross with his wife, Mia Yim that goes with a Keith Lee. You got the Taya Valkyrie. You got Ember Moon. You got Eva Marie. You got Nia Jax. Who else? I think David Hart Smith. Those are the ones we're going to talk about. Let's first talk about Taya Valkyrie. She said in one of her tweets, because she did more than one. Currently, she did one tweet that said simply, I thank the people in WWE. Triple H she thanked, Shawn Michaels she thanked. She did not thank the John Laurinaitis. She didn't thank Bruce Pritchard. She didn't thank Vincent Kennedy McMahon. She just wanted to make it clear this was a dream of hers. She wished she had stayed longer, but she didn't. But she said she's thankful for the time she spent there. She's thankful she worked with Triple H, Shawn Michaels, learning something from them, and this will go forward in her life. She's not done. She's going to go forward in life and make more out of herself because of this experience. That was the nice way to put it. But before that, she did make another tweet that says, roughly speaking, are you kidding me? Just because I'm 38, that I've been released? You got men that are older than that, and you're keeping them. What is the point? Just because I'm older doesn't mean I'm bad. Just because I'm not from you doesn't mean I should just be discarded, roughly speaking. And I agree with her. JD agrees with her. I'm sure just Alex would agree with her. Even the Sleg Daddy would probably agree. just because she's 38 years old, the woman looks like this. And just because of her age and that she came from the outside of WWE, that they got rid of her. Because let's be honest here, every person I'm about to talk about in this list came from NXT. Practically everyone came from either FCW or NXT. The only one that didn't was David Hart Smith. Everyone else came from NXT. Everyone, except for David Hart Smith. So it's like Vince truly does not like that he did not create them. That's what this really comes down to. This isn't about, and anyone says, well, they're doing budget cuts. We know they're not. It is obvious that after they just did their quarterly meeting, their board meeting, and their conference call, they just said they got another high increase of money. And now they just released a whole bunch of people. Now, let's make this clear as devil advocate. You cannot have everyone on your roster, especially if you're not using them. That's the truth. But, and here is a caveat. Yes, you could say that the WWE has at least 150 wrestlers. Let's say they do. And this is part of the people they're trying to get rid of. Because they have so many people on the roster down in Performance Center that are on Raw, SmackDown, that came from NXT before the Performance Center change over from NXT to NXT 2.0. Fine, that's understandable. But, let's be honest. The way Vince used the people on NXT, only a few have been allowed, and only because of some type of recognition and their willingness to bend their ass over and take a stick up their ass. Now, mind you, it doesn't mean they don't have some respect in themselves. But you know that with Vince, he takes respect very seriously, but he also wants them to do exactly the way he wants. It's got to look the way he likes. That's the reason why Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair are the way they are. They have a certain look, and they have a certain lineage that's been giving them a certain advantage. I don't know how long it'll be for either one of them, because the minute they do something wrong, they're gone, because it can happen. But still, Vince has a gripe about NXT. Truly, as I did a video on Triple H, he should leave. Practically, there's only 3 people left that have any relevance from the original NXT. 2 of them are going to be leaving the next couple of months. The last one, he's holding the damn champion as Tommaso Ciampa. And soon, Braun Breaker or anyone else is going to take that title from him. And what will happen to him after that? He'll probably disappear from television. He'll be seen a couple of times, and then he will be finally gone. That's the way it looks. So that's what I think is going on here. First person I'm going to talk about will be Ember Moon. Now, Ember Moon started NXT. She's done incredibly well. And I always liked her. She did get hurt and had an Achilles tendon ripped, just like Xavier Woods did. She managed to come back, didn't do anything in the main roster, and made a request to go back to NXT, where she did restart herself again. Looked really good from what time I did look, because I have looked maybe once or twice, and well, a couple of times on NXT before it got the switch over. But now she's gone. What does this mean for Athena? Because I've seen her on Reality of Wrestling originally, and that was back in 2016, maybe 15 when I first saw her. She has several places she can go. She can go to MLW, NWA, AEW, Impact Wrestling. Here's where it gets interesting. Where do you think she should go? It would be easy to say AEW, because a lot of people just think because it's a place to go, that is the best place to go. But here's the problem. The problem is that AEW's scheduling for their women and their booking of the women is still not good. Many people think Thunder Rosa is going to make AEW great, but let's be honest, you barely see her on Dynamite. They don't do huge amounts of promos for the women other than what's going on with the TBS title. Other than Britt Baker, who is the current champion, that's the only time you ever see her, because you probably see her on Elevation or Dark. We don't use Rampage, as I've said, as an interim type of thing for AEW, because you got Dynamite, you have Rampage here, and then you got the 2 that are considered indie. They should be throwing everybody here that they know can be ready for television, but they just don't have the space up here yet. They get them over here, and they get really good traction before they finally show up here where they can really spotlight them, but at least they'll be constantly seen here. We're not getting that yet. So it's a waste of time. So Thunder Rosa, she isn't the one that's going to be in the lead. It may be Jade Cargill or Red Velvet who will have it. Maybe Ruby Soho will have it. But it's not like anyone new from here. So if I look at Athena, because she ain't going to Ember Moon, she's going as Athena. Where is the best place to go? It's not going to be AEW. It's not. Not because I don't think they would book her properly or not. It's because the women's title picture just has no way to be shown other than Dark and Elevation. Their women are here. They could have 25 to 30 women, and the majority are in Elevation and Dark. How the hell are you going to watch it unless you watch YouTube, and not everyone does it? They're not putting them on Rampage yet. Rampage is not 2 hours, and currently Rampage is being used as an extension of Dynamite, so you don't see all the women. You're seeing the same women who've already been established, which is a Britt Baker, Anna Jade, Tai Conchi, maybe a Thunder Rosa, maybe easily a Hager, easily a Rebel. Those are the ones, Penelope Forbes, the Bunny. Who else do you see, generally, other than those women? Are they the only women that AEW employed? Look at Jade Cargill. They showed her for a little while on Dynamite. They barely, or this Rampage is one of the few times you actually saw her there, other than the match they had with her before there. That's it. So all the women are here. So Athena will probably be, and I believe will be the best place, Impact Wrestling. They need more women, and I truly believe that she could really make her mark there. Now, mind you, it's going to count on the booking. I keep telling you guys, because everyone still thinks that Impact is going to do good. We don't know yet. They just started the new era, since now AEW and them have broken apart, friendly-like. They could still come back and do some work together, but now they're separated. Will Impact gain something with all these people going to come in? Because they have to book them. If they don't, we're back to square one, where Impact has always great people on it, but the booking freaking sucks. And then most of them leave because they either didn't have their contracts renewed, because Impact didn't do it properly, because they are notorious for doing that, or they were only by a taping basis. Remember, a lot of these people, and I will say this about the people from ROH and WWE, they're going to be doing taping by tapings, but I'll explain it later. Next, we have David Hart Smith. I want to get him done. The last time I saw him before finding out he went back to WWE was MLW, when he was with the newly formed Hart Foundation. He was there. He worked there. So what do I believe is going to happen with him? He'll probably go back to New Japan Pro Wrestling because he was there for a while. He may go to NWA. I believe David Hart Smith will either go to NWA or New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't know if he'll go to Impact Wrestling. I don't think he will. And I don't think he's going to go to AEW. If he does, he will not be a wrestler. He probably will be helping in the back with production, at least for a little while. And if he does wrestle, it'll be on Dark and Elevation. Because honestly, they are so loaded with so many people who are tag team specialists and who are singles competitors, even though he's a very big guy that is great in the ring. There's so many like him. It's going to be hard for him to shine, particularly if they're not booking a whole bunch of people on Dynamite, and then they extend it into not Elevation, but Rampage. It's just hard to see them all because you can only see them here. And if you're not looking here because you only watch this, maybe this, what do? Now, I got to get these two done. Nia Jax and Eva Marie. Now, I'm not laughing at Nia Jax, and I'm not laughing at Eva Marie. I am laughing at how many people have either said these two are the most incredible women, or these two are such crap, they should be buried forever. I'm just laughing at the two because I'm seeing it for what it could have been. And I agree with JD. These women no one cared about, or only cared about because they wanted to look at... Calm down. Eva Marie was considered nothing but eye candy. They wanted to see her tits, her ass, and her pretty face. When it came to Nia Jax, there was not many people who cared that much about her due to the fact that her ring work was so bad it injured multiple people over multiple years. Look what she did for a Becky Lynch. Yes, she set her on a great path to being a very high-profile member of the WWE roster, but she broke her nose in the process. She hurt, if I remember correctly. She has hurt Charlotte Flair. She has hurt Ember Moon. She actually hurt, guess who? R-Truth. He got hurt because of her. She's hurt Bayley. She hurt, to a certain extent, Sasha. How many women do you want me to go through that she's injured to a certain extent? Maybe not major, but minor injuries. She never wrestled properly and needed to go back to the Performance Center after she got her surgery and stayed there and then came back to NXT to get better training, which she never did. She went straight back into the roster and nothing changed. She was still hurting people. And then once you see the fight she had with Charlotte, it made it worse. Now, mind you, Charlotte has been acting really sketchy lately. So Charlotte could have started it due to the fact of how botchy Nia Jax is. Now, mind you, when she was in NXT before she was brought up, she wasn't doing that bad because she was under training. And when she worked with Asuka, she didn't look that bad. But after going to the main roster, she looks like crap. So what do I think is going to happen with her? Taping by taping basis. She may go to a AEW and do Dark Elevation by only taping by taping. She might go to NWA and may work there briefly. I don't know. She might. She might go to Impact Wrestling, which I hope does not do it because there are a lot of small women there and they really can easily get hurt by her if she has not practiced and gotten better in her ring. I'm just saying. Eva Marie, the same thing. She is doing taping by taping basis. This is just how it's going to be. Taping by taping. Unless someone just gets her in as a manager, because that's the way she should have been. From the very beginning, before they did the wrestling bit, before Doudrop, she should have just been a simple, ordinary manager. She has to look for it. She could have the voice for it. She might have a certain level of charisma using her sexuality. That is the way she could have been. And if she ever had to wrestle, it would be extremely rare. Here, it's going to be a taping by taping because there's no way someone is not going to see Eva Marie and just see her as eye candy. That's all she was on WWE television. When she went into Total Divas, that's all she was. Now the question is going to be who's going to hire her if they're crazy to do it. I just see her getting taping by taping basis jobs. That's just me. Now, Taya Valkyrie. This is a very hard one to gauge. I spoke about it earlier. The question is going to be, where will she go? The question is, does she want to go back to a company that she practically has done everything that could be done? Pretty much. Let's be honest. Taya Valkyrie has worked in Impact Wrestling multiple times. She's gone away, came back. She has won the Impact title more than once. She has gone and tried to win the tag titles. I believe she wasn't there when she wasn't there when the Knockouts tag before it went out. And now she has not been there since they started it back up. So the only thing she could do is tag up with maybe Rosemary to try and get the Impact tag titles. She is pretty much done everything she could in that company. Now, mind you, she could still go back and reinvent herself. Nothing wrong with it. But is it wise for her to do that? No. As much as many people say, dude, are you crazy? I'm seeing her for what she has done. She has done absolutely everything she could do in Impact, like in EC3, who I will be mentioning from the ROH side. Pretty much. She has done everything she can in Impact. And unless they do something very dramatic, like the Digital Media Championship, she could go after that. That is a possibility. And unless Impact really ups their game with a lot of people that's been released from ROH and WWE, I don't see her going there. Not unless there's absolutely no choice. So she could go to AEW. Mind you, I don't know if they're going to push her properly because there's still, like I said, they got a problem in their women's division. So I don't know if it's going to work, but she could easily go there. The other place that I think might be the best would be NWA. They don't have many people there. Like I said, for an Ember Moon, she could go there, the Athena. So Valkyrie could end up in NWA. Now, of course, it's not a big company, and they don't have a huge amount of budget like they used to. But it doesn't mean she couldn't still get something out of it, stay there for a while like an Athena, and when things get a little more scaled up like in Impact Wrestling or AEW for their win particularly, she can go back, just like an Athena could go. I'm just saying. Mia Yim. No, actually, I'm not going to do Mia Yim. Let's do the big boy. Let's do a Keith Lee. Because Keith Lee and Mia Yim are a package deal. There's no way Mia is not going to go with her man. After him almost dying from complications to the COVID virus. And she was willing to give up almost a shot and actually being pushed in WWE. She was willing to give that up for her man because she loved her man. That is going to be the man of her life. She is going to live her life with him, hopefully. And they don't screw up. I believe she's going to stay with him. So they're a package deal. Even if they don't wrestle together, they're going to be a package deal. Now, where would he go? Easily, many people are going to say AEW for Keith Lee. And it would make a lot of sense to say that. But here's a problem. A lot of people have been saying that. And there's a lot of people there. How many big men are already there? How many big men that are already there and were not pushed that much at first? Look what happened to Miro. It took over a year. And that's counting the year before they even did anything before the pandemic. He was in the I am the best man gimmick. And only now did they really start booking him properly. Now, of course, that's during the pandemic, but it doesn't mean they could have booked him better. They just didn't. So, him going to AEW, it's hard to say if he'll be booked immediately big. And would it be wise to book him big? Many people say, you got to bring in a Keith Lee because he will make your brand. He may not move the needle, but he will make something. Here's the problem. It counts on when they will decide to book him. Not that they will book him. When will they book him? Will it be a year and a half before he even gets anywhere like a Miro? Because it was a year and a half before they finally did something with him. Before he won the TNT title. When they finally started booking him. He may have to wait a year and a half. And you don't even know if he's going to be seen on Dynamite. He'll probably be seen on Elevation. Maybe a couple of times on Dynamite. He'll disappear to maybe Rampage maybe, but he may end up mainly in Elevation. Not because he isn't great, it's because they don't got the damn room in the booking for him. So, where would be the best places for him to go? Probably Impact Wrestling. And I'm not saying this because I'm an Impact fanboy. I'm just saying this because you only have so many companies he could go to. Unless he goes to New Japan Pro Wrestling, which he could actually. But knowing how Japan is having problems with the pandemic right now, they got problems right now. From what I've heard in the last 3 to 4 months, that the pandemic has kind of resurged itself in that country. After what he just went through, I don't know if he wants to go there. Honestly, I don't know. He could go to MLW, which would be wise in some cases. He could stay there for a few months, and maybe a few months to a year, and then try Impact Wrestling. Or he can go to Impact Wrestling. Now, they do have a lot of big men there, like Moose, like Morrissey, like Madman Fulton. Now, possibly, counting on if he's only doing taping by taping basis, Demon. Hard to say. But he could go to Impact Wrestling. They may get him. And hopefully they will do something with him. But knowing what they've done with Madman Fulton, I don't have a lot of confidence. Now, let's talk about Mia Yim. She is a package deal with him, like I said. And that might be the main reason. This isn't about me saying that Impact is the greatest place. I've told you, Impact is good, but it has issues. But in this situation, because she worked there previously, Mia Yim may decide to go back to Impact Wrestling and convince her man to come with her. Like I said, they are a package deal. They may not work together in the ring, which they probably will because now there's mixed tags now in Impact Wrestling. She may convince him and say, baby, come work with me in Impact. I worked there. They're not bad. I actually liked them. He may go. So, That is a possibility. A possibility for a Mi Yen and a Keith Lee. He may be better off going to Impact because his own woman's worked there. She has been champion at least once or twice. She's known and loved. And the baddie from wherever else is one of the best people seeing Jade come back. Now, we have the final one we're going to talk about. Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux. They are a package deal, so I'll be talking about them at the same time. What do we got? We got a very interesting situation. Killer Kross is back. There's no way he's using Karrion. He's been through Impact Wrestling. And they did nothing with him. If anyone thinks that he should go to Impact Wrestling, no. No. He was there before, and literally next to getting injured, which he did, before he was injured, working with Austin Aries, literally before he got hurt, he was floating. Look what did to Moose. Before he had the TNA title and made it relevant, what was Moose doing? Yes, he was having feuds with Eddie Edwards, and he was having feuds with other people, but before he did that, what was he doing? He was floating. Impact Wrestling has a notorious little problem that when they're not sure what they're going to do with someone, they put them in a long-term feud that really doesn't go anywhere. Yes, they'll have great matches, but doesn't mean you get real content and story behind it. That's what they used to do, and they still do that to this day to a certain extent. So Killer Kross coming back wouldn't be wise for him. Now, would he do it? Yes, with a Scarlett Bordeaux in tow. He could do the very thing that he did in NXT, the original, on Impact, and that would be something new. But it would count if they were willing to book him like he was in Impact Wrestling. That damn dominant. But it's hard to say. Now, if he doesn't go there, where would he go? MLW is a choice. He could go there. NWA definitely is a choice. They need more over there. They need someone special. Killer Kross might be the best person to go over there. And Scarlett, who it really isn't a great wrestler, but at least could fill in the women's division there. I think that would be great. Now, I'm sure they're going to say, wait a minute, what about AEW? Well, this is kind of a double-edged sword. Yes, he can go. And he might go. I think he probably will go there, but he'll be here. Elevation and Dark. He may be shown here, and then after a certain amount, he'll go here maybe, and then he will be here. The majority of the time, he'll be here because they're not going to have enough room for him. Unless they're willing to really book him incredibly strong like he did in NXT, he ain't going nowhere. He will not be anything than Elevation and Dark for a while until they give him something, and then they'll show him on Dynamite, kind of like what's going to happen with a Keith Lee. Unless they're going to make him really strong, he's going to be here because there's going to be no room for him because Rampage is not ready to be its own brand. It's still an extension of Dynamite. And it's hard to get any of their storylines done unless they do it here. So that's how I feel. Now, let us go to ROH. Now, I got some names here. And I don't know how you're going to feel about them, but I got to say them. First thing I am going to say, Mike Bennett was seen on NWA Power. Now, by any means necessary, since I'm not feeling well and I've been frustrated, I didn't do the review of it, so I'm sorry. So I did see some of it. I haven't seen all. But I did see Mike Bennett and his partner of OGK, the tag champs of ROH, show up on there and face the Fixers. They did. So, maybe they're NWA. Maybe. It's going to count if they're doing taping by taping basis. This is what I'm going to talk about for everybody in ROH. Let's be honest here. So, they may be on NWA because they just showed up there. So, it's a possibility. Do I believe they're going to be on Impact? They'll probably do at least a couple of tapings for Impact Wrestling, but I don't think they're going to be signed. Now, his wife, Maria Kanellis Bennett, or Maria Bennett, she may show up in NWA. I don't know. She might. Or she'll show up in Impact Wrestling. The question is going to be, will she be signed or will she be doing taping by taping? This is where there's going to be a huge bump in new people seen on a lot of shows, guys. I want to make this clear as I'm still going through these names. It is not going to be that all of them are going to be signed. A lot of the people that I'm going to talk about here could be signed easily. Could be. The rest from ROH and WWE will probably be doing taping by taping appearances. Kind of like what ROH wants to do when they come back. They bring in some special people, pay them only for that taping, and they're not going to be part of the roster because they're not going to have one. So Impact Wrestling going to have a lot of tapings possibly in the next couple of months that's going to be showing people from ROH and showing some people from WWE that either is going to be signed or they're just going to be there for maybe 3 or 4 tapings and they're gone. That is a possibility. Now, you got Angelina Love. This is a tough one. It is easy to say she'll go back to Impact, and she probably will. But she practically, just like Taya Valkyrie, she's done everything she could on Impact Wrestling. She has. She has done everything she could on there. She has been a tag champion. She's been a world champion. Of course, she's not a digital media champion, and she's never been a world champion like a Tessa Blanchard. But she's done everything possible in Impact. Will she go back? It's hard to say. She might. But I can't be sure. And to be honest, kind of like with Taya, as much as I love them both, and I would love to see them on Impact, I have to see them for what they could do for themselves. This is not about what I like, what I want, and what I need. This is about what they're going to be thinking and what would be best for them. And this is something none of you really think about. You think only, this is what I want. Oh, come on, this is what we're going to have. And knowing Gettysburg, and I don't mention people's names very often. I believe his name is Gettysburg. If there's your name, dude, I love you. You always have a very quirky sense of how wrestling should be. And I don't take anything from you. I may not agree with you every single time, but you got a lot in that head. I do respect it. And I know you're going to think of Angelina Love showing up. I know you're going to think about Taya showing up and everyone else and thinking ROH is going to be taken. No. I'm telling you the truth here. We don't know about ROH, and I'm saying this to every last person. It's not about if Impact takes ROH. This is about if they can make it work. And right now, we still don't know what's going on with ROH going into December. They have not had their last show. So you keep saying this is going to happen. No, you have no proof. Even if you've seen articles talking about it, until it's stated by ROH, I'm not going to speculate on it other than wait and see. But for Angelina Love, just like a Taya Valkyrie, I don't see her going to Impact unless she has no choice but to. Just like Taya, I don't see Taya going into Impact. Angelina Love, the same thing. Unless there's absolutely no choice, she will not go there unless she can't do anything else or get anywhere. Where will she go? And NWA is a good option because you got Velvet Sky there as a commentator. Yes, she doesn't wrestle anymore, but it doesn't mean Angelina can't show up there because she knows her girl. Just like the Pope, she knows a guy. Same thing. She could easily go to AEW. Now the question is going to be, are they going to see her as a legend and push her as a legend because she made her mark in Impact Wrestling and everywhere else? Shimmer, Impact. I think she worked in Freelancer. I could be wrong, and anywhere else. I'm not sure. You guys can tell me below. I'm only speculating. I don't know exactly. But she's worked in practically every promotion that's had women in it. I'm sure of it. So, you could do that. Also, and I haven't mentioned this, and this could be for everyone else, GCW has begun to get a lot of traction. Now, I haven't said anything about GCW because, for me personally, I still haven't had time to see it. So, it's a possibility that she could go to GCW like a Keith Lee, Killer Cross. See, I got a lot of gas. That's from my stomach being messed up. They could go to GCW, counting on if GCW will work right for them. As much as people say, well, GCW is incredible. You don't know if it's a proper fit. GCW reminds you of an ECW in some certain aspects, especially when it comes to the gauge. The deathmatch thing is a very rough type of thing. And I'm not saying that women would do death matches or every man's going to do it. It's a very niche thing. And I can't tell you that GCW is going to be the be-all, end-all for every last person ROH or WWE to go to. I'm just telling you, that's an option, but you don't know if it's a proper fit for them. So Angelina Love, that could be a fit. But she could easily go to AEW, counting if they're willing to book her as a legend. I'm just saying. EC3. Nope. No Impact, unless he has no choice. There's another one who's done everything he can. When he did Free the Narrative and helped Moose on his path to being what he is, because Moose started after that Free Your Narrative and looked like the damn Hitman, the same as Low-Key did. That is how he got started. That I just don't see him doing unless he has no option. And I'm saying it again, and people are going to say, no. Impact Wrestling is no option. It is truly the best place. Not unless you've done absolutely everything. I want to make this clear to you. EC3 has done absolutely everything he can in that company. He's held every title, including he's held the television title. I'm sure he did at least once. I don't remember if he held the Grand Championship. I think he did once. He hasn't held the Impact title. Of course, that's different. He could go for that. But after everything he's done there, he's held the world title. He held the tag titles. He's gone through everything there. He may not want to go back unless he has no option. Now, of course, they can pay him big money. He said, well, I need a place. Give me the money. I'll work. He could do like everybody else, but I just don't see him doing it. He may go to AEW. He may go to NWA. He may easily go to MLW. He may go there because that's been getting some traction, as well as GCW. I am mentioning it. But the ones he may really go to is AEW and NWA. I think he may go to those two. Now, Kenny King. He'll probably go to Impact Wrestling. He's known there. He's very well liked. And he probably could easily fit straight into the X Division, where they desperately need more X Division guys. They don't got enough X Division guys at all. And they need somebody. And him going to X Division, easy, he'll fit the mold. Now, does that mean they're going to push him doing something else? I don't know. But he has done this more than a few times, gone back to Impact and went straight into the X Division. Now, mind you, I hope that maybe he'll do something in the Tag Division. And hopefully he may, if they ever do something like they did with Rick Swann, they may actually try to push him to the world title scene if he can do promo work, carry a character, and make us care about him. But that's just me, you guys. Tell me below. I remember a guy named Flip Gordon because he did show up in NWA once. Now, I don't really know much about him, other than the few times I've seen him. He probably might go to Impact Wrestling. I don't know if he'll really get anywhere in AEW. He may just do a lot of dark matches on Elevation and Dark. So I don't know. Now, the last person I'm going to talk about, the one I've been holding back, Jay Lethal. Machismo himself. Oh, yeah. Had to do it. Sorry, guys, for the noise. I'm so sorry. Jay Lethal, who worked with the establishment of Impact Wrestling, is now free. He will work in December, I'm sure of it, in ROH. He'll probably do the last show and then he's done. He may just be seen before that. Do I believe he'll go to Impact? Oof. There's a very strong chance he will. He has not been in Impact for quite a long time, and him coming back, being Machismo, may actually be a refreshing thing. You never know. I don't know, though. He may try to go to AEW. He's well known, so Kenny and everybody else may just welcome him in with open arms, and he may actually be somewhere. You never know. It's very hard to gauge this, and I gotta say this again, guys. For everyone else I didn't mention that's from WWE and ROH, they may do taping by taping appearances only, until maybe someone may pick them up in a contract. But honestly, we may get a huge surge of people coming out of nowhere for maybe 2 or 3 or 4 tapings on Impact Wrestling, on AEW's television, because they have a contract of taping by taping. Similar to that. They let you be seen and there only be like certain appearances you get paid for. NWA, the same thing. MLW and GCW, the same thing. They'll be brought in, they'll be paid for any appearance, and then they're done. There's a very strong chance that's going to happen. You're not going to like it because you're going to want them to be on the show that you like, either MLW, AEW, Impact, GCW, and NWA. They may be on the shows you love, even New Japan Pro Wrestling, counting if you're willing to take a chance, going to Japan, and knowing that the pandemic in Japan is a little not good right now. Supposedly it's still not balanced. I could be wrong, and maybe they finally got the numbers down of people in the epidemic rate. I think they've gotten it. It's fluctuating in Japan, so if you're willing to go out there and work, that's also something. But there's a lot of possibility that people will be brought in for just taping appearances only. Because as much as so many people said, oh, this is an incredible time for wrestling. No, not completely. Because true greatness for pro wrestling is that a lot of people get the opportunity to work in multiple promotions and eventually get signed a contract. Wrestlers want constant flow of money, appearance, and want to wrestle. Because there's a lot of times you may not get booked. You can go to a promotion, say you could be booked that day, and be told, hey, come in, we might have room for you, and may not get booked. Remember, guys, these are still promotions that may let you be booked. And if you're going to go there and be on their taping, they will pay you. But that counts if you're going to be on the show. And as much as many people are going to say, this is going to be great, they're going to see so many people, yes, there's a good chance you'll see these people, but only by taping basis. And if you keep thinking they're going to be signed, you got another thing coming. We're talking about over 100 people, not counting the people from WWE and anybody else is going to be released in December. We are talking about more than 100 fucking people who have now been released from one promotion, ROH, that they're already done. At least 60, 70, 80 people already have been released. And maybe only the core members of ROH are going to do one more show. If they hadn't already taped everything going up to it, they got one more show and they're not going to be working. So you're going to be talking over 100 people. Over 100 or near 100, not even counting for people production, lighting, makeup, wardrobe. That's going to be flushed into every promotion, counting if they got room for them. And remember, we're still talking about being in a fucking pandemic, where many people keep saying this is incredible. All these people are going to get work right. There's a lot of possibility that people in production won't get work. Cameramen may not get work. People who do the lighting may not work. People who know how to set up the ring and make sure that the Titantron or the mats and whatever else is done, maybe there's no room for them. As much as people are going to say there's plenty of space, no, there isn't. Because we are still talking about promotions other than WWE and AEW that do not have budgets up here. NWA, maybe here. Impact Wrestling, MLW, GCW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, anywhere else you want to go. They may not have the budget to cover for people in production, who do the ring, who do the lighting, who do the wardrobe, and then you still want to try and bring in wrestlers as well? Are you fucking serious? Think about it. Think. Instead of just wanting to act. There may not be everyone getting work. There's going to be some people who get screwed this Thanksgiving and this Christmas. They'll be lucky if they get any work at all. And if they do get work, it will be maybe over 2 or 3 days of tapings. And how much money is that? We don't know. We don't know how much money they're going to be making on maybe 3 tapings. What, maybe $1,500? Maybe? And that's going to last them maybe for 2 months, counting if they get any work in between that. Remember, people are still having to pay the lights, having to pay for the car, having to pay for the kids, having to pay for their wife, having to make sure their mortgages are paid. You tell me if I'm wrong or not, because I'm seeing it in the long term, not just, oh, this is going to be wonderful, seeing so many people that are going to be seen on Impact Wrestling. I can't wait to see it. Well, think the fuck about it. And I'm not being rude to anybody. You know I'm not. I'm just being straight with you. Fucking think about it. These people may not get work going into December. Out of 100 people, how many think may get hired? 10? 20 out of 100? But this is just me. I hope you like this video. Give me a comment below. You know, this thing is going to have to be made in 2 parts because this is like 50 minutes. Oh my gosh, I've done a 50-minute video. I think I may have to turn this into a Gump report or just try to combine them. Oh, peace.